We are live, yeah. So yeah, technical issues. Yeah, that's always the problem with new software you are testing and people on a MacBook and people on a Windows computer. That's yeah, yeah. It's not interruptible, and maybe that's a good bridge because today we launched our podcast on YouTube with PhD Kim Nevelstein, who's helping us to solve the problem of interruptibility. That will be huge for yeah Web
So
three.
yes, Kim, if you're watching, we need you.
It's
Yeah.
something different than between Doom and of jumping between Doom and what was the Doom and Minecraft? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you didn't hear us. If you buy, one soul is one NFT. But yeah, all the whales are also welcome. But it's good that we don't have that much whales. That it's many people. It's a big community. I think that is good because that's the first step to mass adoption. Russell.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a majority of our investors in the pre-sale so far have been between 1 and 10 Solana, which is, I think, really that sweet spot where they have enough skin in the game where it matters, but they're not a giant whale that is just looking to dump as soon as there's any profit. So um, obviously, we are trying to build as engaged of a community as possible. We recognize that projects like this live and die with their community, so we're really trying to foster that type of loyalty. And the best way to do that is to provide value to your community and to constantly surprise and delight members with all sorts of things that they value, whether it's access to exclusive content or information, whether it's airdrops of tokens or NFTs, whether it's merch. There's so many things that we've discussed internally in terms of rewarding community members and rewarding engagement. So the more engaged somebody is, the more active they are, the more rewarded they will be. The idea is that you can actually monetize your engagement and be directly rewarded for it. So um, that's the plan, and uh, we're really happy with the outcome so far. I think we're at about 1,600 Solana raised, which is a very good result. And we still have today, obviously. So, and just to remind people, if they purchase through the private sale over the last 3 days, then they will receive their tokens on Wednesday. That's when the token begins trading on Radium, a Solana decentralized exchange, and then at that point it'll be freely trading. But just
Yeah.
make sure that you've got your wallet address. If you sent in Solana, it'll be received. The ASV token will be received back to that wallet address. So hopefully you've all done that from Phantom. And if you have any questions in the Telegram, how to participate, just ask the questions in our Telegram channel, and we're very responsive, very active on it. So any questions, please ask.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe there are people streaming in now or coming in now, and we are not building just a metaverse. We are building an ecosystem that you can use daily. So what Meta is doing, they already had the social media part, but it's centralized, and they are selling your data to big corporates to attack you with advertisement. Um, but we are doing it differently. We are building an ecosystem, a social media platform with built-in AI, virtual worlds, an NFT marketplace with real utility. You can customize your avatar with hats, sweaters, and maybe Nike will join us at this marketplace, and you can wear those lovely sneakers or Jordans inside our metaverse. And yeah, there are a lot of possibilities, and you have a great example of the artwork that you can custom, or you can add a NFC chip in the artwork. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's one of the best use cases for NFTs. Is, in my opinion, is fighting against forgeries, and this is such a problem worldwide. Not only in the art world, where something like 40% of all the art that goes through Sotheby's and Christie's are actually forgeries. And it's astounding that the number is that high, considering how many experts they pay on their payroll in order to try to find forgeries. And still, the forgers are always one step ahead. And even with carbon dating and the best techniques, so much still gets by. And in the luxury goods market, obviously Louis Vuitton bags are renowned for forgeries. Nike sneakers, almost anything these days can be found forged somewhere. So the idea is that we did, and Vesa Kivinen, who's the artist in residence for Asawaria, we built him an amazing gallery. He and I participated. I commissioned him a couple years back for an NFT drop where we were selling physical as well as digital art. And the idea was that the NFT, so you buy a physical painting and it comes with a corresponding NFT. And that NFT acts as an immutable certificate of authenticity because everything, an NFT is just a flavor, another flavor of cryptocurrency, and it's minted on the blockchain, which means the data is immutable and it's transparent. So you cannot issue a fake NFT just like you can't issue a fake Bitcoin. And the idea being that the physical artwork can have, either through the use of a QR code on the back, or even better, an NFC chip embedded in the frame, so that when you scan it with a phone or with another device, that NFC chip brings up the NFT, and that NFT gives you absolute certainty. It gives you the ability to guarantee authenticity, to guarantee scarcity, and even to guarantee ownership. So, based on the blockchain and based on where that NFT came from and when it ended up in the wallet it's currently in, you can verify who the rightful owner of that artwork is. So it makes theft or fencing stolen artwork virtually impossible. If the NFT, if the digital asset stays with the physical asset, then all of these issues of forgeries, of reproductions, of stolen artwork essentially is eliminated. So it's a very, very strong use case of using NFT technology to verify whether something is authentic or not.
Yeah, it's one of those technologies when you understand what it can do. Yeah, it's amaze you because about artificial intelligence we are already talking about maybe 70, 80, no, maybe 100 years already, because I know there's a book, um what is the name of the book, and it's already about robots, AI, and all those years it was like, oh yeah, it's something for the future maybe. But yeah, then ChatGPT came along and it was like 1 million users in 1 month. That's amazing. And also like metaverses like we are building, that will also be a game changer like this. If people can understand what the technology can do and what the benefits will be for them. Also, crypto is, is better than a centralized bank. But yeah, maybe you can talk little bit more about what's the difference between decentralized and centralized, because we are choosing for decentralized.
Yeah, for sure. And, you just mentioned crypto, and I was going to say, it's when you think about the blockchain, you have this incredible combination of immutability and transparency. So, any data that is written to the blockchain, when you send Bitcoin from one person to another, that transactional record is written to the blockchain. And once data is written to the blockchain, it can never be altered or deleted. So you know with absolute certainty, even 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, assuming the server or the it still exists and the internet still exists, then you will be able to whatever that data is, you know with absolute certainty that it is correct and it hasn't been altered or deleted or manipulated in any way. And the blockchain is also transparent. It's essentially, you can think of it as an open database that's on the internet, visible by anyone at any time. And so this combination creates a trustless environment. And trustless is very important. It's a difficult concept to understand. Again, we don't really have any other examples of a trustless environment. Um, but when you think about it, the easiest way to explain that is, again, I've been in crypto for 10 years, and this most basic fact still blows me away. If you think about it, you can take Bitcoin, you can send it directly peer to peer without a third party involved. You can send it to a complete stranger halfway around the world over the internet. And again, no third party to validate, no PayPal, no Western Union, no bank. It's essentially like the digital equivalent of putting cash in an envelope and just mailing it to somebody and hoping for the best. And yet, you can have complete confidence in the validity of that transaction. So you cannot say, oh, I sent it, but really you didn't. And the other person can't say, oh, I never got it, but really they did. Because both of you can just go onto the blockchain and view the confirmed transaction for yourselves. So lying becomes impossible. And if lying is impossible, then trust is unnecessary. And that's really what's meant by a trustless environment. It's an environment in which you don't need a third party to validate because lying is impossible. So you don't even have to think about trust. It's not like 100% trust, it's trustless. It actually goes
Mm.
beyond, 100% trust means you still have to put your faith in something or someone. Here, you put your faith in code and in math and not in another human being, which is fallible. So, that is the whole concept of a decentralized peer-to-peer environment is encapsulated in that you can transact directly with anyone in the world in a peer-to-peer environment without any other, directly and no other party involved, and yet you cannot be scammed and you cannot scam. So it's a very, very powerful architecture. And again, thinking about Satoshi's vision when he created Bitcoin 15 years ago, it was launched, early in 2009. It was developed in 2008 in response to the financial crisis that happened, primarily in the U.S. at the time, where the housing market cratered and Wall Street cratered, and the big banks and the big investment houses all got bailed out, and it was the average person, the little guy, that got screwed in the end, as typically happens. And so Satoshi was like, you know what, we cannot rely on central banks to manage our money, because eventually they either become corrupt or they're incompetent. But either way, people's value of their wealth is destroyed. And so there's got to be a better way, and that's really what he created, this peer-to-peer currency. So we've been singing the praises of decentralization ever since, and that's really what this is all about. Is that we have an environment where we can interact directly with one another. We don't need a bank. We don't need a government. We don't need anybody else to, be a kindergarten teacher for us and hold our hands to make sure that we behave properly. So that's it's a really interesting step forward, and I think it will lead to financial freedom for a lot of people.
Okay, I need to ask because my headphones are dead. Do you have echo?
No, sounds good to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
strange. Um, yeah, we also did an amazing podcast with Wayne this week, and we are talking about the long code of wallet address, um, and making it shorter would be, yeah, better to don't make any mistakes. Um, and he has a solution for this, and I think that's the way forward, to make it a little bit easy, because I think if my grandmother will see a wallet address, I think she thought that I was sleeping on my keyboard or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
uh yeah,
The
but
user
yeah, we
experience.
also choose for an a wallet in our platform, because yeah, it's good that we can have it on our own. We can bring educate to earn as well to the platform. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. uh, what is educate to earn? Because oh, I can study and get money for it. What is this?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, regarding Wayne Marcel, blockchain Wayne, as he's commonly known, we sat down and spoke with him. He is part of FIO protocol, FIO, and this is a very interesting project. They have another gentleman named Luke Stokes, who's a good friend of mine in Puerto Rico, who I had a chance to spend some time with back in December. And FIO has really developed a very interesting protocol related to, like you said, wallet address resolution. So resolving to, just like an email address or a website, you don't go to, you type in asvoria.io, you don't type in the actual IP address because that would be a nightmare. So or email addresses are the same way. You have a simple email address versus an IP address that's cumbersome and difficult to remember. So the idea here is that um, it's cross chain, so you can create a file handle, which would be like Russell at Chorus. So there's no .com, there's no suffix, but it's basically you have an at domain that you can have a whole bunch of prefixes at, and it's cross chain. So if somebody wants to send you Bitcoin, you give them Russell at Chorus as the receiving address. If they want to send you Ethereum, it's Russell at Chorus. If they want to send you Solana, it's Russell at Chorus. It doesn't matter what the asset or what chain the asset is on, it will resolve correctly. So um, very a very good project for usability and interoperability, and we hope to incorporate some of their tech into our wallet and into our project. And it's a good group of guys there, so there should be some great opportunities for partnerships going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, we have also a really good company structure, because we are running it like a company. It's not the average basement crypto project that we are doing. We are a team of business people working together, and I'm the youngest. Damn, I'm the youngest. But yeah, we have a really good structure. We have the Asforia ecosystem where brands can launch their step into Web3. But to get there, you need Unreal Engine developers who can rig everything together. And that's what we do at Astoria Studios. Then we have the technology side, because I'm not that good understanding about blockchain already, but I'm learning. I'm learning from you, and that's your side, the Astoria network, where everything comes together in case of blockchain technology, NFT assets, and stuff like that. And then we are also an incubator. So we are helping brands who don't have the money to step in this new world. And if they have a big community, they can join us in our ecosystem. And yeah, we'll start creating together.
Yeah, the incubator is actually one of the things I'm most excited about going forward because I come from a corporate background. Before I ever got into crypto, I had over 20 years in the corporate world, and part of that was in the financial sector with working for funds. And so I saw the huge advantage that a well-run fund can give its portfolio companies by sharing resources within the fund. So, a fund that has 20, 30, 40 portfolio companies under its wing, um, has so much to offer each company because they are pooling the resources of the entire portfolio. So every company does something, whatever their specialty is, uh, they make it available to all of the other companies inside that portfolio. And so that's really what we're looking at doing. You know, and going back to what you mentioned earlier about the learn to earn and the education part of it. Um, you know, you can imagine a scenario where we have several gaming houses or game development companies as part of Asvorian, and you know they develop the games. We make them playable and accessible in Web three, and we give them a presence in the metaverse. And then they make their games available to all of the other companies inside Asphoria. So if you're a retailer, if you're Nike and you want to come on board and you want to give your, you know, gamification is a proven concept. It is extremely effective in affecting behavior. And if you want certain behaviors and you want people to do certain things, give them an incentive, a financial incentive, whether it's tokens, whether it's NFTs, whether it's something else, something that they will value, and they will, you know, do things for you. They will play a game, or they will go through a learning module, or they will, you know, send to like tag 5 people in Twitter or whatever the case is. So this idea that, you know, Nike can now offer their customers games that they can play where they can earn discounts on some of their products, you know, and they can engage and you can learn, and Nike can set up learning modules if they want to, whatever knowledge, whatever information they want to convey, whether it's corporate history, whether it's an upcoming promotion or campaign, whether it's a new product that's about to launch. You want to educate your community on that. You offer them a game, you offer them something with a reward. And so pooling those resources together, I think that's really going to be critical. And, you know, ultimately over the last 2 years, we've learned so much. We have some incredible development resources that we've brought in house. I think that's one of our biggest assets because truly top end developers are few and far between. It's hard to find the real experts at the very top. And I feel like we've really assembled an incredible team of Unreal Engine developers, an incredible team of Solana developers, and a really, really strong group of AI developers as well. And so all three of those, and they all work really well together. And they're learning how to make best use of each other's technologies in that trifecta. So, you know, we can offer, like, again, that's something that as an incubator, you have a brilliant idea, you lack financial resources, development resources, marketing resources, whatever the case is, that's where we can help you, and we can help you launch. We can partner with you, give you that metaverse Web3 presence, give you access to a bunch of different resources, help you with funding, and work with you as you grow. So that's, I think, a big part of our business will be going forward.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's no 5 hours, a little more, into the pre-sale. But yeah, if people have questions, you can ask them. But you also can join our Telegram group. There are a lot of moderators we have who can answer your questions. So maybe that's also important. What I wanted to ask you, we chose for Solana to launch on Solana, and through the AMAs, I saw many people exciting about this. But if we did this a year ago, then I think people were panicking and don't investing in us. Why did we chose for Solana?
Yeah, for sure. Solana's definitely gone through a roller coaster over the last couple of years, and you know, it would if we were starting this project today, it would be an easy choice. But 2 years ago, that was not the case, and we initially chose Solana because of its technical prowess. You know, not just in terms of the gamification and learn to earn, but in general, microtransactions will be a huge part of the platform in every respect, on the consumer side, on the retail side, B2C, B2B. So we really want to facilitate as many microtransactions as possible. And you know, the gas fees on Ethereum just make that impossible. It's not I think whenever I trade on Uniswap, I'm still averaging $20, maybe more for each transaction. So it's just not feasible. Um, but obviously with Solana, very, very low gas fees, very fast transaction confirmation time, and excellent throughput. So it's much more scalable and it can really grow with us. Um, we started off, it was, it was great. We were building. Then, of course, we had the whole FTX fiasco and Sam Bankman-Fried went going down, and Solana suffered through guilt by association because they came out of Alameda Research and FTX and that whole ecosystem. They were standalone at this point, but they had the stench of FTX on them. So it really hurt the brand for a while, but and you saw that with the token price. But then over the last, since about September, October, so maybe the last 4 or 5 months, we've really seen a resurgence. People are starting, more and more people are developing on Solana, building on Solana, trading on Solana. It's now surpassed Ethereum in terms of NFT trading volume, which is huge. And you see with the Solana token price where it basically went from like $15, $20 to $100 in the last few months. That people are starting to believe again. And when again, if you look at it without emotion and you just evaluate the technology, it is, in my opinion, superior to Ethereum especially for our purposes. It works really, really well. So it was an easy decision, and now we have this additional. Now that it's kind of coming into its own, it's really helping us. And they say timing is everything. That's definitely true here, and the one. So it's proven itself in terms of NFTs. Where it hasn't shown much growth yet is in the metaverse space. And I mentioned earlier that we are the first major metaverse project building on Solana. I am sure we will not be the last. We will blaze a trail, and there will be lots of other projects coming up behind us. But I'm very excited about the fact that we can really establish this as a legitimate place to build a metaverse. We can prove the concept, lead by example, and show people what's possible.
Yeah, it's still early days, and it's a lot of work to build a massive platform like this, and that's why Meta is already also still building it, but they are making the wrong choices, we think, with with those avatars. But I want to make a bold assumption. We talked about my daughter, who's 8 weeks. I'm a strong believer that she doesn't need to work when she's 20. I think everything will be automated, and robots will take over the workforce. Um, so, how big will metaverses be? Because there is universal basic income. They are all the big tech companies are talking about this. I think this will come because what you saw is that all the tech companies are bigger than the world economic value together. All the countries, so they will have the power in a few years, and robots will take over. So I think metaverses will be huge. Play to earn, educate to earn. This will be a big, big, big thing this next decade.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, just the Fang companies, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, is probably combined value is something like $8 trillion. I'm going to guess something 8 to 10 trillion, probably, which obviously is more than the GDP of many countries, and they have significant influence. And AI is going to change the world faster than almost anybody realizes. That's the one thing I know. I did the presentation recently on exponential curves and the fact that the human mind has difficulty grasping the concept of an exponential curve because we still mostly have caveman brains, and they are more geared towards slow evolutionary change. And we are our brains are designed so that whatever came before is what we predict will come after. And the nature of an exponential curve is that it starts off almost linear and very slow growth, and then all of a sudden, it hits that apex, it hits that inflection point, and then it goes parabolic. And I think that we are right at that point where it's about to go. So if you look back over the last 30 years, and 30 years ago, there was no smartphones, there was no social media, there wasn't even internet really yet. And think about all of the amazing technological progress that's occurred over the last 30 years. And I think over the next 3 years, we will surpass that in growth and in technological progress. So that's kind of how the exponential curve works. And certainly, I don't think your daughter will be working at 20. I think that even by the end of this decade, by 2030, which is 6 years away, we will probably have true AGI. I think 50% or more of all jobs on Earth will be replaced, will be done by AI. And, at that point, we will need some form of UBI because all the people that aren't working still need to eat, and assuming money is still a thing, then they're going to need to get food and shelter and everything else for when a majority of people aren't working. So there's a lot of things that we as a society need to figure out. A lot of changes coming very quickly. But
But how do you prepare people for this? Because when I'm talking to people in my close community, they think I'm nuts. They think, oh man, you're way too far in those AI and spatial web things. And but but how do you prepare for that? Because I think there will be, yeah, people raiding through the cities because they will lose their jobs. We had it already with Uber in London, for example.
Mhm.
I don't know what will happen, but yeah, we need to come up with something quickly, or the education program needs to change immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's really just about, and you're not gonna, it's like Satoshi's his famous quote. If you don't understand it and don't have the time to learn it, I can't help you. It's like at some point, personal responsibility has to. It's the information is readily available, so there's really no excuse. It's just a matter of time, and if people put in the time and educate themselves and understand. But you're right. Like and again, that's the whole idea of an exponential curve. When you talk to people about this, most people's reaction is this is still 20, 30, 50 years in the future. They refuse to acknowledge the fact that it's going to happen very quickly, and that's the biggest adjustment I think that is going to be needed. Is the idea that okay, we have to. This is 5 years away, not 50 years away.
Yeah, and that's also why I'm investing in technological companies, mostly AI, or yeah, like we are also investing in Astoria, so we are strong believers. Um, I already saw, because I'm also following on my phone, that we had yeah, some people who bought ASV, so we are really thankful for that. And don't forget to join our Telegram group if you have questions, what we are doing, how we are doing. But you can find everything on our website. We have also all the docs, the tokenomics. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about the tokenomics, because through the AMAs, I saw that there were a lot of questions about our tokenomics. Not that it's not clear, but just to clarify what we are doing.
For sure. I mean, we went out of our way to be as transparent as possible, and our tokenomics document is extensive. So it is possible to give too much information, I guess. Well, I don't think it's possible, but perception wise, it can seem a little overwhelming. So we have right on our webpage on asphoria.io, top right under docs is one called tokenomics, and this has the it explains the concept of our token economy. It goes through all of the token sale allocations, It shows the complete distribution of tokens and funds, as well as the vesting schedule, and as well as talking about hodling benefits of the token. So uh, we are the total number of tokens issued is 1.2 billion total supply. We are starting our token sale at 2 cents. And the public, when it starts trading, it'll be 4 cents on Wednesday. Um, One of the important aspects of the distribution that I want to point out is, and again, this is in this document, so you can see on page 3 of the document, it shows the distribution investing schedule. And if you look at the team and the advisors, there is 0 tokens released on TGE, which would be Wednesday. There is a 3-month cliff, and then the longest vesting schedule of any of the classifications of tokens. So we have a 20-month vesting. So it'll be 23 months, almost 2 full years before we see our tokens and all of our tokens. And this is really just, again, speaks to the belief that the entire core team and advisors have in this project. That the last thing we want is we're all very much against pump and dumps. We are building this again as a sustainable long-term business. That is what the vision is. That is what our roadmap shows. And so we are all more than okay and more than confident enough to wait 2 years for our tokens, because we know what the value of this project will be in 2 years' time. And even the investors, the seed investors, also have been very patient. They have a 9 month, so basically a total of 12 months until they get their tokens. So it's we are building a loyal community, not just of investors, but and not just of team and advisors, but the users as well. We will encourage hodling through a variety of strategies. We will hopefully sustain buy pressure, maintain floor prices of NFTs. We are very cognizant of that. I've been an investor and a trader in tokens and NFTs for years now. And so all of the things that I've had to deal with other projects that have bugged me, we are going to eliminate. And all of the things that I've really appreciated are things that we are going to incorporate. So, I'm hoping to take the last 10 years of my personal experience into all of the things that we're doing.
Yeah, and I want to mention because I made the mistake. 2015, somebody offered me 2 bitcoins for making a logo, and I turned it down because I thought it was a scam, and I would never see that money, and it was with a stick, and it was oh my god, I didn't want to do it. So, and it was for me just maybe it was a simple logo, so it was maybe 5 hours of work. It's the same as the pizza guy,
Yeah.
almost, but he has a lot of more money then. But yeah, I turned it down, and what I did, I bought on the top in
Hmm.
2021. It was
Hmm.
2000, yeah, it was 2000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
November
it turned
2021.
down, and I was like, God damn, now I know what it is, and it's just dumping now. But yeah, yeah, it's a cycle, and now I understand it, and I'm a big investor now in crypto. I have a lot of Solanas bought when it was $14, not
Wow.
13,
Nice.
but $14. So it was a good move, and I want to hodl this as well for as
Mhm.
long as possible. I think the bull run will end next year, November, December. So let's
Yep.
see what we can do, because I have a lot of reconstruction to do in the house, and I have a daughter, which is expensive. Was me I was told. So um, yeah, yeah, we had that conversation with Kim Nevelstein, and he has a really nice word. The integration of, no, what was it? What was the name?
Yeah. Industry of integration. Yeah.
Yes. and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe you
no,
can tell a little
absolutely.
bit more about that because that's really technical. Only the word interruptibility was like learning
Mm.
in front of the mirror. Interruptibility. So
Like
yeah.
a tongue
So
twister.
Let's explain to the people what that is.
Yeah, for sure. And just before that, though, just a funny story because you've got this turning down two Bitcoin. So I've got you beat on that because I got into crypto kind of full time around 2014, but I first discovered I first came across Bitcoin. It was around 2011. I think it was $5 a coin. And I was like, okay, this seems kind of interesting. I don't really know much about it. Doesn't have much of a history, but I've always had that kind of gambler mentality, and I've always been a bit of a degen. So I went to my wife and I said, I explained the concept, and I said I want to buy 1,000 of these bitcoins for $5,000. And she's like, "Are you freaking kidding me? You think you're some scammer on the internet invented fake money, and you think you're going to send them my hard-earned money?" She was the financially responsible one. so so she vetoed that, and a couple years went by, and then I sort of rediscovered Bitcoin, and by then it was 100 times more, than that. And I still
Damn,
bother her to
damn.
this day. I still tease her about that I could have 1,000
We could have been rich.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no.
She's convinced. She tells me I would have lost it all somehow. I would have bought some shit coin and that went to zero
Yeah,
within.
yeah. Everybody's telling me this as well. Oh, when you had those two bitcoins and it was like 20,000, you already sold it. Yeah, but it was $40,000 then,
Yeah,
so that's also good. And maybe I bought extra. You never know because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Exactly.
once you're in, you understand what it is. You want
Hmm.
more. You want
Yeah,
more.
for
You want to
sure.
see
Sure.
that uptrend.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm hoping to be a little. So this is going to be my third bull run. And the first one in 2017 was head spinning. I had never seen portfolio balance go up that quickly, and I just assumed it would go up forever. Having never experienced this before, and so I held all the way through the crash. And then in 2021, I was so deep into NFTs that NFTs took over my life, and I basically converted almost all of my crypto holdings into NFTs, and of course, they all crashed afterwards. So this time around, it's like, okay, no more stupidity. This time around, I'm going to do things smart, buy good tokens, hold them for the duration of the bull run. Hopefully, sell them at the top, and no more degen.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, so getting back to your question about the integration. This is obviously critical, and I think that we all want to help facilitate mass adoption. We all want to see this world-changing potential in this technology in the hands of as many people as possible. Um, and user experience is one of the biggest hurdles to mass adoption because not just about even something as simple as MetaMask for somebody again that has no experience, for somebody that wants to enter this space, that's a huge learning curve to understand, to install MetaMask, again, to tie it to your wallet, like all of the things, when we use it every day, it comes naturally to us, but you forget how intimidating it was at the very beginning when you're learning all this stuff. So part of the problem with the user experience today is that we have we have dozens and really hundreds of different chains, and they each, whether it's Ethereum or it's Solana or it's Bitcoin or it's Polygon or it's Optimism or it's Arbitrum or, like the list goes on and on and on, Binance. And so there's all of these chains that cannot talk to one another directly. And right now, the only way to interact from one chain to another is with a bridge, and bridges suck. There's no other way to put it. They are a terrible user experience. They are very insecure, highly vulnerable to hacks. It's typically where most hacks occur is on bridges, and so you end up with a situation where it's like everybody's just siloed and everybody's in their own little ecosystem on their own little chain, and nobody wants to talk to any of the other chains. So this Professor Kim Niedelstein is working on fixing that. And I think that his work will be a necessary condition to mass adoption. I think without, just like when you go to a website, you don't care. You go to asvoria.io, you don't care whether it's built in C++ or in Java or in Solidity or whatever. It doesn't matter to you as a user. As long as the page displays, as long as the functionality works, then that's all that matters. So the same thing in crypto. We need to get to a point where people don't even know, because they don't care what chain they're on or what chain a particular asset is on. The wallet, every wallet should be cross-chain compatible. Every exchange should be able to manage multiple chains seamlessly, and users should just have that single experience, whether regardless of what chain is operating in the background. So that's really what Kim is working on. But not only in terms of cross chain compatibility, but cross multiverse compatibility. And so he's building transporters, if you will, between different metaverses that currently are completely incompatible with one another. But like you mentioned before, he's built a teleporter between Doom and Minecraft, where you just walk through a doorway in one metaverse and you appear in the other seamlessly, and all of your assets, all of your clothing, all of your weapons, everything you had in one game translates into the other game seamlessly. And that's kind of what we really want to get to that point, is where as Voria can be the springboard, the launch pad to all of these other. You just go from there and you just select, okay, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want Decentraland, Sandbox, whatever. The idea is eventually, and it's not even a question of necessarily partnering with other metaverses, although we will have that. And it's also not creating a single standard that everybody builds on, because nobody's ever going to agree. It's about having, and this is Kim's concept, is what he calls this industry of integration, is the idea of a third party or third parties uh, generating revenue from building these types of bridging solutions, so that this is a new industry, a new model, where the metaverses just do their thing, and then you have third parties that create these transporters and this ability to jump from one to the other. So I think that'll be critical, and it'll be the standard very soon. Consumers will demand it. The user experience has to be simple and intuitive, and it can't require the kind of bridging that we need today.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys, it's a little bit 5 hours and 40 minutes to go. We are making real good steps. We are already over 1,600 Solana is raised. Yeah, we also have new team members, and uh, it's a beautiful girl, or woman in my side, because I thought she was 30, but she's a little bit over 40. And she was a nurse, but she wrote a book about stablecoin. And for me, stablecoin is a big thing, because I make invoices and I get paid in stablecoin, and that's good because I'm living in Belgium. So if I have too much losses on a trade, that would not be good for my taxes next year. Um, what are the benefits of stablecoin for you, and how will this have an impact on metaverses?
Yeah, for sure. So first, I'll just say, yeah, we expanded the team a little bit over the last couple of weeks leading up to this token sale. You're referring to Elise Sam, who is has joined the core team. She will be the director of marketing and partner relations. She is a legend in the space, an OG, an award-winning author. Like you said, she's written multiple books. One was on stable coins, and she also wrote an NFT encyclopedia. Um, and Yeah, we're very happy to have her. She's also a very dear friend of mine. So, personally, I'm very happy to have her on the team, and we will see her soon. I think that she'll be joining at the top of the hour.
Nope,
But
nope, nope. She will be there, and yeah, the next
The
one.
next
The
cycle.
next one
Okay,
is
so three. Yeah, okay,
Miggy,
so
Miggy
about
and
four.
Steven. Miggy and Steven will be there in half an hour, but Elise and Ken Bosek will be there 2 hours after that.
Okay, so 4 p.m. Eastern time is when they will be on. And Yeah, so in terms of stable coins in general, uh, it's it's very very important, and she can talk to this a lot more. She's the expert, but um, we need to be able to, again, if the problem with Bitcoin as a currency is the fluctuation in value. And if you're a retailer and you're accepting Bitcoin for your goods or services, you can't have money that you take in as payment fall 50% in value. And the crypto market is still volatile. It goes up, it goes down. It's great if it doubles in value, which is also a possibility. But as a business, you may not be able to take on the risk of having it fall. So in order to mitigate that risk, you can convert your holdings to a stable coin. And a stable coin typically is pegged to a real world asset. In the case of Tether or USDC, it's pegged to the US dollar, to the value of the US dollar. It can be pegged to commodities. It could be pegged to the price of gold. It could be pegged to the price of a barrel of oil. There are multiple ways of managing stablecoins. There are also algorithmic stablecoins. Now, unfortunately, we saw what happens if the algorithm is not designed well, and that's the issue with Luna that we saw the crash, and that was an algorithmic stablecoin that became devalued. It decoupled from the token that it was supposed to be pegged to, and there was a complicated relationship between two separate tokens. And it basically entered a death spiral where the fall of value in one token precipitated the fall of value in the other, and so on. And unfortunately, it all crashed. So that was an experiment that went awry. But Tether, for one, has shown, and USDC has shown that if you have a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, that really works very well. And as long as it is fully allocated one for one, so as long as there is a dollar sitting in a bank account for every token that is in circulation, then you're protected. Ultimately, anybody should be able to go in. It should be fully redeemable at any time. If you want cash back for your stable coins, you should have no issues with getting them. And then it provides some stability in the marketplace. So again, whether you're a retailer, it also is nice for traders. If I feel that there's a market correction coming, and I want to get out of a particular coin, I will usually sell it for a stable coin and then just sit in the stable coin, because the value of the stable coin is consistent. It doesn't, again, assuming that it doesn't get decoupled, it stays at $1. In the case of Tether or USDC, it fluctuates between like 98 cents and $1.02 at most, because there is a little bit of trading. But obviously, as soon as there's arbitrage, so as soon as it hits 98 cents, it's already enough of a profit for people to buy it, and as soon as it hits $1.02, that's enough profit for people to sell. So there's a lot of this type of swing trading. So it maintains its stability, and it gives retailers, if you accept, there are payment processors that if you want to accept Bitcoin on your website or even in person in your physical store, you can, this second it's received in the store's wallet for a good or a service, it can immediately be converted into a stable coin. And then that way you can eliminate the risk. If you don't want to sit in Bitcoin, you don't want to sit in these volatile assets, you can sell them the second it comes in, and then that way you're protected. So stable coins have a very important role to play in the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies, and we definitely need to support that initiative.
Yeah, I will say something like Elise is also doing. If you have questions, people, just ask them and we will answer them. Maybe it's good that you ask the questions, because make it hard for us, because we are just talking, and maybe we are forgetting something to talk about, or something specific about the platform. Just ask us questions, and yeah, you have 5 hours and 30 minutes, something like that, to get into the pre-sale. um, Maybe we can go back a little bit about our platform. About the roadmap, for example. The wallet and marketplace are almost ready. We are going to testnet in 1 or 2 weeks, and then we will test it with the community, fix the bugs, and then at the end of this quarter we will be live with the wallet and the marketplace, so we already can start selling NFTs of maybe one of our incubators that are joining, but also from Vesa and Destabilize, for example, who will get funded through the marketplace, and then we will build their virtual environments. But I saw that Nico's also sharing about the platform we are building, and also the visuals. So Unreal Engine 5.3, that's so super realistic. There's one image where you see Nico sitting on the couch, and you see the shadows and the lighting, and it's so realistic. You also shared it on your Facebook that there's one avatar in this picture, and you need to see which it is. And yeah, that's amazing that we can do this, because I still remember having a PlayStation 1, or even the Nintendo 64. What was it, like, with the three, like
N64,
like
yeah, Super NES.
trident. Wow, that's not so long ago, and we are already here creating super realistic images. And
Yeah,
um, it still needs a lot of GPU to handle, but even then, Unreal is fixing that problem, and already going to an app with a super realistic. It's a little bit downgraded, but it's still that amazing. What are your thoughts?
yeah. I distinctly remember the birthday party that I was at, where the first kid on our street got an Atari. I think this was probably 1982, 1983, something like that. I was, 12 years old, and just the idea that you could play video games for free in your own house was just such a like crazy
Oh yeah,
concept.
you're from that time that you go to the arcade.
Man, if I the number of quarters that I fed into video games and pinball machines in my childhood could probably yeah, increase the GDP of a country significantly. I was in the arcade every day after school. I was, going hungry at lunch just so that I could spend my lunch money on video games, and I was obsessed growing up. And so the idea of, like, and then, I television came out, ColecoVision, of course, became Nintendo down the road. But I still remember the games that I played on ColecoVision, and this is just the graphics, like Pong, or the game the free game that came with Atari, the included cartridge, which was Combat. I still remember it. It was, you could choose to be a tank or a plane on one side, and it was the most basic pixelated graphics. But again, video games in the house, it was like mind blowing. So yeah, we've come a long way to Unreal Engine 5.3, but
Yeah, and next year you're not playing a game. You're, for example, buying an artwork of Vesa in an Unreal Engine
yeah,
environment. That's
yeah.
so
It's
crazy.
and that's the thing, is the blurring of this digital reality and physical reality. And I've always said, like, people, there's a lot of people that have sort of a visceral reaction to the metaverse, to avatars and all this. It's like, well, it's not real, and you want to live in the real world. And what I always say is that it's not about replacing the real world, it's about enhancing it, just like with artwork, where NFTs are not meant to replace physical art, but if you combine them and you take the best of both worlds, then you have something that's better than either one by itself. And the same thing with metaverse. This is not about replacing the real world, but we can make it so that if you can have a meeting, if you can interact with friends or relatives or whomever, in a hyper realistic setting, then it makes things better. And we've seen with COVID that, like, once we were able to travel again and we go to shows and we see people, and there's no substitute to face to face interaction, to looking somebody in the eye, shaking their hand, giving them a hug. I don't think any type of metaverse is ever going to replace that. But there's so much that we can do, that we can take kind of this type of interaction, this 2D Zoom world, to the next level. And clearly, digital communication is here to stay in one form or another. It's proven its value. And again, it's some combination of real world interaction and digital interaction. And I think that's really where this hyper realistic, like, ultimately, if metaverse is ever to achieve mass adoption, it's not going to be through sandbox and Decentraland graphics and this meta graphics that look like the Wii, the old Nintendo Wii. These cartoonish avatars are just not going to cut it. Like, they've reached the end of the road. People are demanding hyper realism. That's what we committed to a couple of years ago, because we saw that that's where things were going to go. And what I really like is the fact that we are future proof. Just like we were building a year ago, we were building on Unreal Engine 5, and then 5.1 came out and we migrated to that, and then 5.2 came out, we migrated to that. Now we're on 5.3. When 5.4 or 6.0 or whatever the case is, we will migrate. Same thing with the AI technology. As it improves and increases, we integrate that into the platform as well. So whatever new technology, we are committed to staying at the forefront of the technological curve. And as things advance, we incorporate that into the platform, and we grow with the technology.
And we are talking about hyper realism, but it also can be a life size bunny, like a human life size bunny, with all the hairy details. And why I'm saying this, because also for brands or grocery shops, for example, Easter is coming up, and when you will have glasses that will have the mixed reality technology inside, you can see a bunny welcoming you through the shop. And when you already made your list, for example, he will walk you around, and also good for the shop, because yeah, we have a promotion over here, and some things like that. It will be everywhere. And with the work of Unreal, it's, yeah, it's easier to, how do you say it, that it feels familiar
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah, that's right. And that's exactly it. It's got to be real, or as real as you can make it. And so, sometime in the not too distant future, we will have, full body, full immersion suits that you put on, like Ready Player One, where you feel every slightest pressure, touch, temperature change, whatever the case is. And the metaverse will be full immersion, will be indistinguishable from real life. The graphics will reach a point where you won't be able to tell the difference. It'll be as realistic as what we're seeing in front of us right now. And like you said, grocery shopping. Like, I can order groceries. Like, if I'm ordering prepackaged foods, it's one thing, because hopefully what's inside the box is going to be the same for no matter which one you pull off the shelf. But I certainly wouldn't order produce, fruits and vegetables through a delivery service, because I want to see what the fruit looks like before I buy it. I want to make sure it's nice and not bruised and whatever, right? So again, if when we in a few years we'll reach that level of immersion where you can go grocery shopping in the metaverse and you can actually pick up the produce and you can feel it and you can see it and you can turn it around in your hand and you say, okay, I want this one, and then maybe a robot arm in the supermarket will pick up that exact watermelon or whatever it is and put it in your cart, and that's the one you're going to receive delivered to your house. So for that and for so many other applications, you need photorealism, you need hyperrealism. So
Yeah.
I'm really proud of our achievement in that area. And again, like you said, that clip of Nico sitting on the couch, it's really, really remarkable. Like every time I see it, the subtle movements and the way the shading, especially the shading, is usually the hardest thing for graphics to get right. And when you see from the lampshade and even the blinds are like segmented. You can see on his arm, and then he moves his arm, and the shading just moves ever so slightly. I mean, it's uncanny, and
Yeah.
it just it makes me wonder where we will be in a year from now or 2 years from now. It's, when Unreal
Yeah,
Engine
because
5 is
I
out.
d- I d- I don't know if Unreal is already using AI technologies inside their rendering pro. I think so.
I
I
would
think
think so
if
too, but
you look in that way, that this will be sharp and this will be a little bit blurry, for example, like the new Apple Vision Pro is also doing. If you are looking straight to there, then it will be sharp, but over there it will be a little bit blurry. But that's the way we see also. That's the way I see you sharp, but this chair over there, that's a little bit blurry. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, like we are seeing now with the Apple Vision Pro, it's still early days. It's the best way to start investing in metaverse projects because, like I said, I think this will be the biggest thing in the future because people maybe will be bored and they will even 6 years old will join the metaverse because there is no work, people are all building experience over there, and yeah, yeah, I foresee this in the future.
yeah, absolutely. No, without a doubt. I mean, and again, it's easy to dismiss because we don't really see it around us. Like again, for my perspective is a little different because I started my career in 1995. I graduated university in 94, and to me, 1995 is the birth of the public internet. It was, the release of Windows 95, which was the first operating system that had a mouse, that had a graphical user interface. It was the launch of the first Netscape Navigator, and especially it was the preloading of Netscape Navigator in Windows. So computers that were being sold that had Windows 95 already had a browser built in. And so now there was an easy way, or relatively easy way. I mean, it was still dial up internet, it was whatever, but people could get online. And, all through the late 90s, 97, 98, 99, people still didn't understand the value. And to most people, it was a fad, and it was both the internet and email. I'm just going to show you one picture that I love that's in my favorites folder, and I bring this up all the time. And you can tell me if hopefully you can see that. Um,
Wait,
should I move it up or down? I
yeah,
can't because I can't see
the
myself. But
internet may be just a passing, a little bit of, yeah, just a passing fat as millions give up on it. Ah, yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the date of this article is December 3rd, 2000. So
Oh,
this was not 1995, 1996. This was, in 2000, an editor approved that headline, because that was like what most people thought at the time. And so, but by 2010, it was impossible to imagine anyone, especially any business, not having a website and not using email. And the same thing with Web 2 and social media. It took a long time, years for businesses to understand the value of having a Facebook page and having Twitter and allowing user generated content and having that, interaction. Web 1 was read only, was, all you could do was read a static web page and maybe send an email. Web 2 was read write. Now you have users have the ability to create content. Web 3 is read write own, where you actually own and can monetize the content you create. And it also introduces this idea of decentralization. So, you know, if these technology adoption cycles are repeatable, and just like it happened in, web 1 took like 15 years from 1995 to 2010, and web 2 took 10 years from about 2010 to 2020. Web 3 will take 5 years from like 2020. I think by the end of next year, by the end of 2025, web 3 will be ubiquitous, and metaverse will be ubiquitous, and everybody will be owning and using NFTs for ticketing and for all sorts of different things. So it's inevitable, it's coming. But the sooner you get here, the better off you'll be. The people that got into internet in the late 90s had a big advantage over the people that came later, right? Because they were on the forefront of this technology. They might have had investment opportunity. Maybe they bought Amazon stock early on, So it's always better to be early than late when it comes to technology. So we encourage people to jump in, and we try to make it as easy as possible. But everybody should be uh, taking some time to empower themselves.
Yeah, and that reminds me what you told me about the owning stuff in Web3. There was one AMA that somebody asked us, when I'm an educator and can I sell my education? Of course you can. Of course you can. You can be in a classroom environment, or you can be in ancient Rome environment and educate people in that environment. So and you can, we have an event section also in the marketplace. So a ticket is an NFT. So you buy that ticket and you have entrance to that environment or education program or whatever it wants to be. And it's crazy that people are thinking about it, and that it's possible that you don't need to go to a specific school. No, it's just going to the metaverse and you can join with millions of people the same classroom. That's so awesome. um we also landed two other team members, Ken Bosek and Michael Turpin, an OG. Which one you want to start introducing, Ken Bosek or Michael?
Yeah.
um
We'll start with Ken because we're going to see him later on this afternoon, along with Elise. So Ken Bosak is a brand ambassador. Ken and I have known each other for years. He's a dear friend, and he is a master at community building. His bro community, as he calls it, was legendary in 2020 and 2021. He's one of the OGs when it comes to NFTs. He's been creating and selling and utilizing NFTs for real world utility for years now. And he is going to be the phoenix that rises from the ashes. He kind of has been out of the scene for the last couple of years through the bear market, but he's back, baby, and he's going to rebuild his community on Asvoria. His rebrand, he's been known primarily on Wax up until this point. I'm sure he will continue. He's got his dedicated community there, but and again, part of the interoperability. He will develop this community on Solana in Asvoria, and then eventually be able to bridge them together seamlessly. But we're very excited. Ken is a great guy.
Yeah,
Very.
maybe quick because he's commenting in the YouTube live chat. We need to talk about the roadmap and the goals or objectives. Yeah, I already started about the roadmap, but I didn't finish it. I was thinking about it, but yeah, in quarter two, no, quarter one, this quarter, we will have the marketplace and the wallet feature live. And then in quarter two, we are building and releasing the community page, and that's also where you can start configuring your avatar. It's not the complete functionality of the avatar. The AI will be integrated. You can see it as a Tamagotchi of the early days, where you can set a mood, and it can interact with the community, but it's still in progress. It's a beta. At quarter 4, we will have the first launches of our metaverses, where we are already building on for 2 years, like Vesa, Destabilized, Pornopoly as well. We got a lot of question about that as well. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit later, because it's still early. No. Yeah, and then the AI avatars will also kick in at the end of this year, and that you can also use it as an API on your website and web shop. And yeah, for the next years, we are expanding the platform as well, and yeah, we are going for those partnerships to have more virtual environments by the end of this year and next year. Um, yeah, goals, Russell. What are our goals?
For sure, and part of that, part of the roadmap. One thing I want to point out again is that we are rolling out different aspects of the ecosystem over the course of this year in terms of going live. But the key fact I want to point out is the fact that we are we, most of it is already built. Like again, we've been building for 2 years. We very much wanted to have substance behind the hype when we finally started talking about ourselves. I hear a lot of people have said to me over the last week or so, like, "How come I've never heard of you guys before?" And it's because for the last 2 years we've been head down building, and we didn't want to start the outreach until there was really something to talk about. We wanted to, we didn't want to be just another great idea with a white paper and a web page. We wanted to have something significant to show the community, something that's already built. So, like you said, the wallet and the marketplace is going live this quarter. It'll be going into alpha testing and then beta testing and then rolling out to the public. Everything is going to be fully audited. We're very transparent from the smart contracts to the actual platform code. And again, this is something that's a real business. I can't emphasize that enough in this space where
And
so many.
it's still a difficult thing to do, because it was never built before.
Yeah.
But you need to inspire on that UX and UI that Web 2 platforms are doing, because that mass adoption, we need that. So that was real big. How do you say it? Ba, 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 ba. Um, yeah, difficult thing to do, because you need to figure out everything, research and trial and error, and try to make the development team understand what we are building as well,
Mhm.
because it was never done before. um yeah, and we have a big team of 30 people in the Solana development and the platform development, and then we also have a dozen of Unreal developers, and now we are working together with them to bridge those worlds together, because we have that handheld platform that is 2D, and we have 3D environments already, but now they need to come together, and that's what we are doing this year, and yeah, working on that in the near future. We were talking about Michael Turpin as well. Ken
Yes.
Bosek, you introduced. Who is Michael Turpin?
Yeah, so Michael Turpin has agreed to join the project as an advisor, and he already was an investor in the project, but he's now formally joining the team. We're very excited about that. He is one of the original Bitcoin OGs from like very early days. We're talking like 2010 times, and he had the foresight to get into the space very early. He was a large participant in the Ethereum ICO in 2014 when the initial sale, you could buy an Ethereum token for 30 cents. And it's amazing to think about that now, but he got a whole bunch of them. And so
A
he's
whole bunch. Damn.
so he's been a very influential figure in the cryptocurrency space for 14 years. He founded Coin Agenda and Bitcoin Angels. Bitcoin Angels is a funding network for blockchain related projects. Coin Agenda became the longest continuously running crypto conference on earth. Just celebrated, I was in the most recent version, was in Puerto Rico in December, celebrating its 10th anniversary. You can imagine what a crypto conference looked like in 2013. Far cry from where it is today, but again, he had the foresight, and he's always been a very big proponent of education, of outreach, of mass adoption, and he's contributed a lot. Anybody that's in this space owes him a debt of gratitude, and you know his his network is global. He has access to resources that almost no one else has. His name it means a lot, and so we're very fortunate and excited to be able to bank on all of those and basically access his network of resources for this project. He's currently in Dubai at the Satoshi Roundtable, where he is, hopefully talking about us and, and promoting us. And we're just excited to have that resources available to us. So for promotion of tokens, for sales, for just growing the platform, he will be invaluable for us there.
Okay, nice. I think we have 9 minutes left, Russell. I want to encourage everyone, go to our Telegram group, because we have a big team over there who can answer all your questions. Uh, do you have something to add at the end of the show, Russell?
Um, I would just encourage, like, for me, thinking about Asvoria, thinking about this, is it's exciting on beyond the practical, beyond the granular details of all of the things that we're building and the token sale, and all the stuff that we've talked about for the last 2 hours. I look at it on a higher level, conceptually, that this really is in many ways a transition. I think AI is going to bring about a dramatic change in human behavior, in society, and in how we interact with each other, how we function in this world. And part of that future world is going to involve metaverse, it's going to involve Web3, it's definitely going to involve blockchain and cryptocurrency. So, I would just very strongly encourage everybody, if you've never been in the space, if you're new to the space, and I know that it's intimidating, I know that it can seem overwhelming. Where do you begin? How do you learn about it? Who do you turn to? Just ask questions. We are all, like, individually, I'm happy to help anybody that wants to enter this space, that has a genuine interest. I've spent countless hours walking people through installing their first wallet, explaining to them how they get tokens and things like that. To me, this is just, it's a part of doing business. We Mass adoption is critical for all of us in this space, and helping people and encouraging people to come in here is part of that, and it's going to change everyone's life, whether you like it or not. Again, the internet, you could have held out for as long as you wanted to, and eventually you got yourself an email address, and eventually this smartphones became ubiquitous. Like, even the older generations that were resistant eventually all got smartphones and all started texting, and we all had to teach our parents how to text, and and all that. So it's inevitable, it will come, and it's going to come fast. So the best thing you can do for yourself, for your family, is just learn about these technologies. And again, the information is out there. It's readily available. It's life changing information. So there's no excuse. It's about take an hour less on Facebook every day, and an hour more on learning.
Or or
yourself.
Russell, they can go to the website and they can read the blogs that Elise is dropping over there. We
Yep.
have the podcast show every Sunday where we invite OGs in the space, but also new projects we will doing, and also our partnerships we will contact. I think it's good that we. In the near future will have someone who is curious to step in but doesn't know that much of the space. I think that is also good to see. And yeah, on my side, I'm really happy that I joined this team because I want to build this legacy. We chose the right to we chose the right blockchain technology. We are choosing the right 3D technology. We have a really good company structure. We have already good partnerships, and yeah, we are happy to welcome new partnerships as well. Um, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And yeah, guys, if you want to buy that token at a real good price, now is the moment because it's still 4 hours to go. And yeah, we are almost signing off, and Steven and Miggy will open a new live stream. You can still ask the questions because Steven is already there for 4.5 years. He was always the supporter, the supporting the early investors. He's always in great contact with them as well. We met them as well in Bulgaria in November, September, November. Oh,
Mhm.
damn. Yeah, I got a kid. I don't know. um,
October. You're right in between.
Oct- damn, damn. Yeah, and if maybe if we did the pre-sale a little bit later, we did a collaboration with Jupiter. But yeah, for now we are doing this on our own website because until this day there wasn't any launching platform for Solana. But yeah, let's that's when we see now that Solana is a real good token because how Jupiter has launched, that's amazing, and yeah, we will follow them. um I want to thank you, Russell. I maybe some people want to join the whole night, so we're gonna
Mhm.
give them 4 minutes or 3 minutes to go to the toilet. um and yeah, if you have questions, guys, you can DM Russell or me, but watch out because there are copycats. Both of us are copied already, and a fake Telegram profile. So watch out for it. We will never DM you first. So reach out, and you can also reach out to the community in the Telegram group. You can ask us anything. Russell, you want
Yeah.
to close off?
Absolutely, and just to reiterate, if the best way to get a hold of any of us individually is to send a message in our Telegram group publicly. If you say I'd love to talk to Russell or Phil or whomever, we will see that and we can respond in the Telegram group so you know that it's really us. And then if you would like a direct message, we're certainly open to that. But just be very, very diligent, very careful. There are a million scammers, and don't. None of us will DM you first. So just do have good operational security.
But
And
but you,
Yep.
sorry, no, Russell, continue.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, there was just a few minutes ago another sale, 1 minute ago. So we are the most up to date total. We are at 1,613 Solana raised, which is great to start. We'd like to get a little bit more in over the next few hours. So if you've been thinking about it and if you have any questions, again, reach out on our Telegram channel, or you can ask on the stream. We will continue the stream for another 4 hours until the end of the sale. And yeah, we just appreciate everybody's support. We've had hundreds of community members join the sale. We appreciate each and every one of you. And, we are committed to really doing something special with this project. And I think that everybody that joins us for this ride will be very happy.
Yeah, and I want to say if somebody's reaching out to me, maybe you need to wait a little bit longer so you can better text the community or Russell because I got a baby of 8 weeks, so it's a little bit harder to keep that in yeah in mind. No, I want to thank you all. And at first I thought, oh my God, 2 hours where we talk about, but in all the AMAs we are over time. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was fine, and it was an honor again to do this with you, Russell. And yeah, next Sunday we are back for a podcast. So
yeah, absolutely. No, this was great, and we seem to never run out of things to talk about, you and I. So
yeah,
works well.
great. Thank you very much, guys,
Okay,
and
talk to
much
you,
love.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Take care.